Hey guys, what's up? RJ here, back with another episode of Interviews with Entrepreneurs show where we interview entrepreneurs who are super awesome in their niches. And we can simply say finally, after like so many runs, we can simply say finally we got this man. And like this man needs no introduction, but we need to do that. So basically, like Shaqir started from like literal ground zero and his age and only on 21 he made his first seven figures in under like 3 years. And if you were the power of the funnels and everything community, he was the only guy like who got two Comma Club X award, which is basically getting 8 figure award at under 30 years old. And also he's the founder and creator of wealthacademy.com, salesfunnel.com, and have host 100 plus events and changed thousands of people's life. So please welcome Shaqir Hussyin.
Hey
Hey
man, how's it
Shaqir.
going? Hey,
I'm
how are
great.
you?
How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm so excited to be here. Sorry for like doing it so many times, but now we're here, so I'm excited. I'm pumped. Thank you so much for having me here.
Totally appreciate it. Again, it's truly an honor for having you on our show. And I can see many guys who are jumping on right now. Guys, like you can simply use hashtag live or you can simply use hashtag replay as well if you have like any questions out there. And again, Shakir, thank you so much for being on the show. And like we want to know the people out there who don't know a little bit of a backstory, like how you got started, got into the space, and where you are right now currently in your business.
So, by the way, I just requested to join the Facebook group as well, so you
Yeah,
can.
I'm doing it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, guys, I do want to also correct you. I made my first million when I was around 23, 24. So I got started when I was 21.
Yeah.
And, like most Asian grandparents, my parents said, go to school, go to college, go to university, get a degree, get a job, work. And here I was, like trying to learn how to make money on the internet. And I was very fortunate because I had gone to a live event and I had met someone who um, who was basically just absolutely killing it, right? Like he was making more than $100,000 per day. And I was like, what? Like that was like the most insane thing ever. Like it's like someone who meets like who doesn't know like who's only like heard about millionaires and then they go and meet a millionaire and they're like, whoa, like what? Right? Does that make sense? And so, like, I remember very clearly thinking, like, what the heck? Like, who's this person? He was an Indian guy, and it was funny because he could speak Bengali, Sylheti, which is my mother tongue, right? And I'm like, this is the craziest thing ever. Like, this guy is Indian, and he's like talking in my language to me, and I was like, I don't know what you do. I don't care what you do. I'm going to do whatever it takes to basically do this, right? And I was in my final year of studying university, studying finance, money, and banking because I wanted to become an investment banker. And then I dropped out of university,
Yeah.
and then I started this journey of internet marketing. And back then, we used to use sales funnels, but we used to call it like websites, or we used to call it sales processes. We used to have like different terminology, and man, it was a lot of hard work. Like these days, it really isn't that hard to make $1 million. Back then, it was very hard. Like I remember just working so hard to make $1 million. Oh my gosh. Alhamdulillah, all praise to God. Anyway, long story short, by the time I was 26 years old, I had made my first 10 million in sales. And before I turned 30, I did over $30 million in sales. And so, Mike, you can go IG live on this one as well. And so, that's pretty much my journey. Now I'm 32. I've made a little bit more money, but that's my story. 30 million before 30. I think that gets enough attention. So I'm just like, that's basically where I'm at, man. So you fire away whatever questions you have. I'm an open book, so I'll answer.
Awesome, awesome. That definitely makes complete sense. The way that you talked about your journey and how you transformed and saw other people doing that, and once you realized and you started working on that as well. So, like, what was the point that you realized that this is my thing? Whatever you were doing, and you were talking about the funnels and everything. What was the point that you realized your aha moment? Kind of.
I basically first, like a lot of people, I was struggling. I think everyone struggles in this industry. It just depends how long you're struggling for. And so for me, I had struggled with like trying to learn SEO, PPC, article marketing, Facebook marketing, spamming on Twitter, harassing like anyone and everyone that I met. I would literally go to live events and I would go and hand out DVDs and business cards. Like, it was a complete nightmare. But I stuck through, and what I developed is something I call scalable income skills. And some people call it different terms like exponential income, high ticket income, whatever. Like, I call it scalable income skills, which is like, how do you develop something where you could scale yourself, right? Where once you develop the skill in itself could be scalable. And so for me, one of the first things was email marketing, and I got really good at email marketing. In the beginning, I was so insecure about writing because I really did bad in English in school. And then I tried to send emails, and it was just like it was a nightmare. People would write back, like they'd call me, all sorts of names. And back then as well, like 10 years ago, there wasn't many people like me doing internet marketing. That's the truth. And there wasn't many people even back then that were actually very successful. And so for me, what had happened was I got my first break through email marketing, and I developed these skills that most people didn't want to learn. And I thought, what, if I work really hard, then I can develop these skills. And so I learned email marketing. And then I learned how to pick up the phone and ask people for money. So between email marketing and phone sales, I was able to break through to 6 figures. Then the next multiple 6 figures that came in was I just got really good at it. And then I developed and I learned how to hire people, right? And so I started hiring people. When I hired, I remember like I hired 2 people to do phone sales, and I must have been like 22 or 23. And then boom, the next year, like my income went from 275K to $1.2 million. And for me, that was like, it was game over. Like, I was still living in my parents' house, and I stayed there because that's what Asian brand people do. Okay, I stayed there for like good 4 or 5 years. I would literally work out from my mother's kitchen table, and it's been a wild ride.
Yeah, absolutely. That is definitely interesting, because look, as for me as well, being the Asian out there, and having all of those particular idea where you can take yourself out of into, and that is absolutely crazy. So like I can see one of the guy who have put it up, Nikhil out there. Can you let us know the Indian person name out there that you saw and inspired?
Oh, the person that I used to follow, he doesn't do marketing anymore. So he's kind of like, he made a bunch of money, he retired, and he just kind of left the whole scene. But because of him, he had introduced me to so many different people. And that's like one of the things that you want to know, especially if you want long-term success, is that you got to develop relationships. Because
Yeah.
at the top, everyone knows everyone, right? Like, it's actually not that big. It's huge. The whole industry is that worth like billions and billions of dollars. But really, at the top of the top, like pretty much most people know most people. And so, relationships go really, really far. And that's just like a big tip for you.
Yeah, that's absolutely making sense. So, like, even when you talk about your journey from wherever you started out and making 8 figures, and inshallah going for 9 figures way too soon, like, how much you think that creating a system, and at what point you think that creating a system is so important to scale to higher level?
Like, I would say, as you're building your business, go and start developing systems, right? Like, so this is a big thing that a lot of people don't do. And if you can do that, then I believe that you will have a lot of, you'll have an unfair advantage over people that don't, because I meet
Yeah.
people, especially entrepreneurs, they like to do everything themselves. And if you can skip past that and you can focus on like, how do I build a system or a team or a process, and how can I get other people to do that? That's where you're really going to be able to strive, and you're going to be able to scale your results. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. That definitely makes sense. So, like, apart from the business question, like, when I started my journey, I didn't knew about that. You know, when I got into ClickFunnels, I was thinking about, I was like being a little bit over smart and went on GoDaddy and searching the domain funnels.com and salesfunnels.com. And I was like, who is the guy who might have owned the funnels.com domain or salesfunnel.com domain? Because I didn't knew about that. So when I got and I knew about you and everything, I saw, oh my God, like Heaven Russell Brunson got this particular domain. Like how you got the idea, okay, that I need to get the domain at that particular point. Because and
You know
Heaven
how?
Russell Brunson offered you that?
Yeah, he offered me a lot of money. Do you know how many people meet me and the first thing they say is, "Hey, you own funnels.com." And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "You own salesfunnels.com?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Does doesn't Russell Brunson want that?" Yeah, he offered me a lot of money. Not just him, but a lot of people have offered. I plan to. I've been in the industry for the last 10 years,
Yeah.
and I plan to be in the industry, God willing, for a lot longer. And because of that, I see I could build something pretty substantial. So, short answer is yes, lots of people, not just Russell, lots of people have offered me lots of money for it. Um, the long answer is um, I bought it like 5 years ago. I paid a lot of money. I paid, if you're asking me how much I paid for it, I paid close to around $50,000 just for funnels.com. So
That
yeah, I could just see, this is where the industry is going, and it would be really wise for me to make an investment that's going to be long term. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, that's probably the main reason why I bought it. I was actually one of ClickFunnels' first ever affiliate. The first week they launched, so me and Russell kind of go way back, and so that's basically what's up.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw the Nichols talking about he owns funnel.net as well. That is absolutely crazy. Like and each and every domain that was, revolving around the funnel that you have that. And that was the, curious point that I had in my mind. Even if you talk about right now currently, like you bought it like almost 5 years back, that is almost the exact same time when Russell Brunson launched ClickFunnels.
Yeah.
Like that is almost 5 years back. So
No,
somehow
no,
it,
I had built this huge brand on gurufunnels.com. And it was like I was teaching people how to like basically be gurus, because that's like what the marketplace wanted at the time. And then I saw Russell launch ClickFunnels, and I was like, hey, if I wanted to be in this space for the next 5, 10, 20 years, what would be a good starting point? I should write a book. I should establish myself as a high ticket funnels expert. And that's basically what I did. That's basically what I did. I basically positioned myself, and yeah, those are great domains.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, if you all have any questions right now, you can simply post it up in the comment section as well. We can talk about it as well. So, like, when you realize that, since you've passed on, and we can also see that you have, two Comma Club X award, that is like literally huge. Again, congratulations for that. You got that like few days back. You got it delivered over here.
Yeah,
We saw your
it's so
live. That was
funny
literally
because
awesome.
yeah, it's so funny because they came in a little bit broken, and so when
Yeah.
I was taking them out, they were like broken to to really crazy pieces. And so my guys that work here, work with me, they basically had to get like super glue and wood glue and just sellotape the whole thing up. But they look good now. They look good, and they're
Yeah.
on the wall. So
Absolutely. So, like, what do you think is the number one mistake that people make, from passing from 6 to 7 figures, from 7 to 8 figures using a funnel? What do you think about that?
six figures, they usually don't have like a product market fit, right? Like what that means is like to make six figures, what you have to do is you have to ask yourself, who is the person that you can add so much value to, right? It might be just one person. That's basically what I did in my early 20s, right? So I was like, I think the year I made 275K, uh, I think it was that year. Forgive me if I'm a little bit off by a year or so, But I think that year I had one client that paid me $175,000. So when you're 22, $175,000 is a lot of money. But I was able to figure out and find a way to attract one client that had one big problem. And I was like, I'm your guy. Hire me. I'm going to solve your problems. Don't want to hire me? Let's figure out a way for you to hire me. And so I remember it was like, I think I charged him 25K up front and the rest was paid off in like commissions and stuff. So I had made around 175K. And when I had like made, 275K that year, I was like, damn, this is sick. I made like 400 grand in 2 years. I was like, okay, now I'm going to go and learn about paid traffic. And the next year, literally, I did $1.2 million. So a lot of the times what happens is people are trying to be like this big guru, this big brand, blah, blah, blah. They're trying so hard, trying to be big when they're at six figures or when they're trying to get to six figures. The truth is, if you find someone's problem and then you craft a solution for 5 or 10K, let's just say 10K each, you only need 10 good clients to pay you 10 grand. And you're on six figures, right? Like that's your 100 grand. Now you could compress that in a month. You could compress that in a week. You could take you over a year. So once you understand the pain and problem that you can solve, that's unique to you, and then you build marketing to attract those customers, that's really powerful. That's six figures. Six figures is very easy if you can just identify a product and a problem. To get to seven figures, if you've never made $1 million, $1 million is actually, from what I've seen, it's very hard for someone to do, especially when they're starting out, right? Like, sure, I can do it now. That's because, remember, I've also got 10 years experience on most people, right? For the average person that's never made $1 million a year, right? You gotta develop yourself, and from what I've seen, and what worked for me was I hired 4 people. I hired 2 people in the Philippines. One lady, she's still with me 10, 12 years later. Wow, crazy. And I had 2 people from London. One of them was my cousin. One of them was my school friend. And so between like 4 people and me, 5 people, I was able to get to 7 figures. And one of the reasons is because I had learned tactics, and then I had delegated the tactics to tacticians and technicians, people that can do the work, do, right? And so very quickly, as soon as I understood that, I was like, oh, wow, okay, I don't even have to learn anything as much as learning how to delegate effectively, right? And so that took me to 7 figures. And then from 7 figures to 8 figures, that's also a big jump. Like my first $10 million was really hard. It was really fun, but it was also really hard. I had the time of my life. And that was a long time ago. And what really helped me make my first $10 million in sales was I started getting really good at developing offers. Okay, this is like one of the big secrets that people miss out, and you must develop if you truly want to get to the next level, which is being able to develop winning offers, right? $1 million offers, an offer that will serve a group of clients that is scalable. So that's what I started doing. When I started getting into like at 6 to 7 figures, you're really doing the stuff yourself. At 7 and 8 figures and 8 figures and beyond, you're building systems and offers that is mass scalable, and that's really powerful. I think that's like a crash course on 6, 7, 8 figures.
That is definitely insane thing, because that is the exact same thing that you're talking about, and literally mind blown. And I can see one of the person asked the question like, how would be a funnel builder make it big nowadays? Like staying as a freelancer, building a brand slowly on social media, and congrats.
Yeah, thanks for the congratulations. I do appreciate it. How do you do? The question is, if you're a sales funnel builder now, how do you differentiate yourself? In my with my clients and my students, we go through this thing called a unfair advantage assessment, right? Like you want to write down what are the things that will give you an unfair advantage over everyone else. And when you can, come up with like a list of things, uh, things that will give you credibility, authority, positioning, things that will help you position your product, price your product, promote your product. All of these things just adds, right? Like, so for example, as a Muslim, I don't listen to music. Okay, for me, it's not
Yeah.
good for my heart. Because I want to be in a different state of zone, and so I eliminate, reduce, take away any sort of music environments. Same thing in my videos. I don't, most of the time, like 99% of the time, I don't use music. Okay, so like I was telling my team this, and I said, make sure you guys don't smash these awards because I want to use it because that's a point. That's a point of getting an unfair advantage. So anytime I get into business or I create an offer or I do something that people that is a saturated market, then what I do is I ask myself, what is the unfair advantage and how can I use that as my strength, right? So for example, I'll share stories. So my story is very different. When I was 21 years old, I was mentored by a guy who's making 100 grand a day. That's a very unique story, right?
Yeah.
And not many people at 21 years old have a story like that. Another story is over the last 12 years now, I've spent over $550,000 in like consulting. I've literally paid every single consultant, coach, mentor. Like I don't for me, I developed this thinking, which was like, if I pay for someone's hour, a time with someone, Dan Sullivan, Dan Pena, basically every single mentor that's really killing it or has done something really, really big, most likely I've paid them. I've paid them a lot of money. And my whole thinking is, if I can skip one or two mistakes, then I'll be able to think in a very different manner, right? And so that is a unique story. When I was 25, from 25 to 20, 25 to 25 to 29, around those 4 years, I was mentored by someone who had done over $300 million in sales before he turned like 30. So, like that's a unique advantage story. You may have a story where, you've struggled at something and then you figured out a solution, or that you've learned, a concept and now you can put your own spin on it. If you're a funnel builder and you want to position yourself at the highest level, go out and do some free work for a handful of people, right? Go and get their testimonials. Number two, when you do that free work and they're happy and you're happy, do an interview with them, right? Like kind of like how you're interviewing me. Do an interview so that you can position yourself alongside that, right? Alongside the person who's looked up to, whatever. Does that make sense? And so
Yeah.
these are things that you can do when it comes to positioning. Another thing is like learning how to sell, whether it's selling through writing, copywriting, it's selling through on the phone. Like you got to learn how to sell, because that's the real big differentiator. It's the people that can market uniquely and the people that can sell effectively. And what happens is sometimes you can be a great marketer, but if you don't understand how to sell, then you don't know the mechanics, the psychology of asking someone to give you lots of money, right? And so anyway, that's basically my two.
Yeah. Crazy. And I hope that makes sense. And one last question, because we need to round this session fast, because I need to respect your time and everything. That is absolutely one last question that I want to ask from you. Basically, is I saw that you also, like, I've saw the past videos that you done on YouTube as well, and also you talked about wealth. Why, especially, like, I'm talking about the people who are young, because like I'm 21 currently, okay, and I'm into this space right now. Like, what is the advice regarding wealth you want to give to young entrepreneurs out there?
Oh, sorry. What was that? What's my advice regarding
Yeah.
wealth?
What is the advice that you want to give regarding wealth for the young entrepreneurs who are currently of our age, like for 20 to 25, something like that?
Wealth is from what I realize now, wealth is really first a state of mind. Is being able to understand that you can create wealth first in your mind, right? Like, so for me, and this is just me being very upfront. For many years of my life, like I thought, okay, if I just acquire more money, that's wealth. And as I got older, as I got more mature, as I got married, as I started even learning more about my religion, I realized, okay, money is like just one tiny part. Like there's so many other things. And so the best piece of advice I can give you on wealth is being able to be free in your mind, in your life, without anyone putting any shackles. So for me, I have a simple rule, which is like, there are no rules except for the rules that God has given me, right? Any other
Yeah.
rule, like whether it's marketing, selling, like I don't care. Like every one of those things are made to be broken, um, you know, in a sensible fashion. But when it comes to like wealth, I mean, there's a lot. My new book is called Attracts Wealth. It's going to be published very soon, attractswealth.com. And it's going to be around how do you become the person to attract. A lot of the times, here's what happens, and I think this is a big mistake people make. They want to go and chase the wealth here, outside. But what they have to learn and develop is they have to build themselves up of a character, of a person that's capable of attracting that wealth. Does that make sense? Right? Like
Yeah.
so I can tell you right now, if you've never made $1 million and all you're trying to do is like, how do I make a million? How do I make a million? That energy of like coming from that place of need and desperation and that wantiness doesn't really serve, right? Like even I know this because like I had made money and then I became really broke. When I had made like 100 or 200K, my first couple of years, and then there was a period where I like lost it all, right? Because I spent it. I was like young and dumb, and I remember like meeting someone and I was thinking to myself, okay, do not be the desperado that needs to close this sale. Instead, figure out what his pain problems are and then go and provide a valuable solution. And in that case, if the deal comes, the deal comes. And it did. And that was one thing that really, changed my life forever. But in terms of like where people should start for wealth creation, this is a very good exercise that I do, which is, before I used to calculate my net worth and just like how many investments and assets and all this stuff, now I think about, okay, like what do I have that's so unique to me that has like no comparison to anyone else, right? And if you have
Yeah.
like for example, like my relationship with God, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very unique, very different, and I can't share that with someone else. Like, does that make sense? So like, what if I could just find peace in that? Or what if I could find peace in, knowing that I'm developing a specific skill set or I'm thinking a certain way? Then what happens is, then you're happy, you're content where you're at, and you're also very detached. You asked, and I was going to say this, but you asked me about my first mentor, right? And I remember like meeting this guy, and I was like, when you hear someone's making 100 grand a day, you're like, and you're only 21, so I was your age. I was like, what is the secret, man? You're gonna tell me, And he was like, you need to go and pray. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, you need to pray, you need to meditate, you need to do gratitude. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what do I have to be grateful for? You know what I mean? But those things really, really helped me, just being able to detach myself away from just like, sure, I want to make money. Everyone wants to make money, but what if you could detach yourself from needing it, and you came from a place of abundance first and foremost with yourself, versus scarcity and neediness. And so I also understand people have bills and stuff to pay. You know what I mean? So it's not easy, but I'm just telling you, this is like what worked for me. One more question, then we're gonna wrap up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire away.
Yeah. Yeah, so no, that was the only question, because I know I totally respect your time, that was thing. And yeah, so where can people find you most about the stuff? Like, where is Shaqir Hussyin? Where can people find about you?
Yeah,
Apart
I
from
got a
funnels and
YouTube channel.
thinfunnels.com.
Yeah, you can go to funnels.com. I'm sure you guys know what funnels.com is. And you can find me on
Absolutely.
my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Shaqir Hussyin. I'm at 7,000 subscribers. I'm really trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. So make sure you go smash the like button and subscribe on my YouTube channel. That would mean a lot to me. I'm putting in a lot of effort just because I want to, I want to spend the next 3 to 5 years really building up my YouTube channel. And so that's basically what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, I will put the link in the description down below as well, so that you can simply go and subscribe for this channel, because that is so important. And again, Shaqir, thank you so much for being on the show. Like, it was truly an honor. It was like so great to have you on our show.
I appreciate it, man. You keep up the good work. Keep hustling. Keep being persistent, because it's going to pay off. I hope it's paying off right now, but it's surely it's going to pay off. So keep it up.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate the fact that you reached out so many times. It says a lot. So keep it up, dude.
Yeah, guys, that's it for now, and see you for the next interview. Peace out.
All right.